This video will go over some general formulas which are useful when doing math. You can use this video as a reference if you forget where a formula is used, or if you want to remember the formula itself. Let's start off with basic area and perimeter formulas. So as you can see, the formula for the area of a rectangle is area equals length times width, and for perimeter, it's perimeter equals 2 length plus 2 width. For a triangle, the formula for area is area equals base times height divided by 2, and for a perimeter is side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. And lastly, for a parallelogram, the formula for area is area equals base times height, and for the perimeter, it's basically the same as a rectangle, 2 length plus 2 width equals perimeter. So one important thing to understand with these formulas is that you know which side is the height, which side is the base, which side is the width. And if you don't get these confused, these formulas should be pretty straightforward to use. I also advise that you go back to our area and perimeter video for more information. Now let's move on to the area of a circle as well as a trapezoid, and also the circumference of a circle. So as you can see, the formula for area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. And for circumference, it's 2 pi r, or you can also use circumference equals pi times diameter. Now you can also go back to our circles video for more information on these formulas. Now let's look at a trapezoid. Now the formula of a trapezoid is kind of long, but it's very simple once you understand it. So the formula is area equals base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. So what this is saying that we take both of the bases, so the line at the bottom and the line at the top, add them together, multiply by the height, and divide it by 2. And this will give you the area of a trapezoid. Now let's look at the volume and surface area of 3D objects. In order for us to find the volume of a cube, we would do length times width times height. And to find the volume of a prism, for any prism, we would take the area of the base and multiply it by the height. And the base of a prism is usually the bottom face or the side. And let's say we had a square-based prism. Well, we would find the area of the square and multiply it by the height of the prism. If we had a triangular-based prism, we would take the area of the triangle and multiply it by the height. Now let's look at surface area. Surface area is really simple. We simply take all of the sides of the prism, pyramid, whatever 3D object we have, and add them up together. Now let's get into more complex 3D shapes, such as a sphere. To find the volume of a sphere, we would do 4 over 3 pi r cubed. To find the surface area of a sphere, we would do 4 pi r squared. And in order for us to find the volume of a pyramid, we would do 1 over 3 times area of base times height. So let's say we had a rectangular base pyramid. Well, we would find the area of the rectangle divided by 3 and multiplied by height. This even works for a cone. Since a cone has a circular base, we would find the area of the circle underneath the cone divided by 3 and multiplied by the height of the cone. And now let's look at the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And underneath it are some factoring rules. So the first one is a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. This is a difference of squares. So if we have two squared numbers that are being subtracted together, well, it would equal the two numbers added multiplied by the two numbers subtracted. And lastly, let's look at the difference of cubes and the addition of cubes. So when we have a difference of cubes, we would do a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And for the addition of cubes, it would be a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So these are some general rules you would use when factoring and come useful in algebra. And now let's look at a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. For this formula right here, ensure that when you're doing a plus b squared, you include the plus 2ab, because most people tend to write a squared plus b squared and miss the 2ab. So that's an important thing to remember when writing a plus b squared. After that is the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now the letters in the quadratic formula a, b, and c correspond to the coefficients in a quadratic expression. And for the quadratic formula, since it's plus or minus, we need to do it once with plus and once with minus. And we simply just sub in these coefficients into the formula and get our x value. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and they will be answered as soon as possible.